Hello, my name is Sasha Pisaglia, and this is my introductory video for ETEC 565T. I'd first like to acknowledge that I live, work, and play on the unceded, shared, and traditional territories of the Katzie First Nation and the Kwantlen First Nation. Part 1 was autobiography, and I am proud to say that I am an Asian, Indigenous, European, Canadian woman. So part 2 is assumptions and behaviors. And for me, this is all about where this type of information comes from, and that's sources. And I have found that through reflecting on where my assumptions and my behaviors come from, the majority of it is media. It's TV media, videos, commercials, movies, it's screen media, and those types of characteristics that I am assuming about certain cultures and people are stereotypical. And it's definitely a part that I need to work on in terms of not believing those sources and finding authentic sources, having conversations with the people whose culture it is that I think I know about. And I think that's a really important piece to this self reflection. Part 3 is action. Um, when I became a mother, I had to fill out a form. And on that form, there was a little checkbox that said, check here if you identify as Aboriginal. So I checked the box, kept going, filled in all the other information that they were requiring. And about a week after my first son was born, I got a phone call from the health authority. And they asked me a series of questions that at first I didn't think anything of. Questions such as, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Do you have a support system at home? Have you been drinking? Have you been participating in any drugs or other substances? Do you live on a reserve? Do you require any support? And as the questions went on, I started to feel very uncomfortable. I started to feel very frustrated. And I had a lot of questions. Does everybody get this phone call? I didn't know. I was a new mother. I had no idea. And I hung up the phone and I told my husband, and he thought it was very weird. And so I just kind of brushed it off. Not a big deal. And then I got the same call a week later. Same questions, making sure I was okay, making sure my child was okay. Are they getting fed? Are you breastfeeding? How often are you drinking? And then the third week, when I got the same call, my husband picked up and he very abruptly said, you need to stop calling my wife. We are fine. We are happy. And just because she is Aboriginal and checked off a box does not give you the right to make assumptions and respond to her with this type of behavior. And so when I had my second son, I didn't check that box. And that was really hard. And every time I see that on a form, I have to think about it really hard. Do I check this box? And do I have people assuming things about me? Or do I not? And then my son started kindergarten this year. And there's that little box again. And as a teacher and as an educator, I know the different types of supports that he could be getting. But I hesitated and I wasn't sure whether or not to check the box. So, yeah, I've definitely faced some systemic racism and it's not fun. So, part 4 is anti racism. And anti racism to me is taking an active stand against individual, institutional, and systemic racism. It's done through an understanding of our own biases, our own assumptions and beliefs, and really taking that critical lens and looking at the societal structures and the thoughts, the words, and the actions and behaviors of individuals. So the last part is all about final discoveries. And for me, it was assumptions and beliefs. I really need to look at how I have internalized racist ideas and really begin to move forward into self knowledge, which is what Ibram X. Kendi said in our readings this week. Um, what am I going to do? How am I going to do that? Well, I think it needs to start with continued professional development, taking this course, as well as committing to reading one novel a month that focuses on self knowledge and discovery. My next book that I'm reading is called Me and White Supremacy by Layla F. Saad, and I truly look forward to continuing on this journey.